Well, hello there, it's Sakura from SakurAnime, of course, and we have some stuff to talk about. Now, as you may or may not know, there's currently an anime airing called ReZero Kara Hajimeru Isekai Sekatsu, or in English, ReZero Starting a Life in Another World, I'm pretty sure. People have been saying ReZero is one of the best anime, if not the best anime of the current and of last season. And while that's true, people also don't seem to notice that ReZero does have a few problems. And today I'm going to talk about what some of these problems actually are. And how I'm going to do that is by using a Facebook post that I saw a couple of days ago and which I actually commented on. Because that's always easier than just ranting on about the topic for 10 minutes. First off, we'll look at the post itself, which as you can see are two screenshots from the infamous episode 18 and two pictures from my anime list. In the first picture you can see Rem confessing to Subaru, and you can see that the status is watching, and the score our poster here gives ReZero is a masterpiece or a 10. And then you can see the second picture, which is Subaru rejecting Rem because he loves Emilia, and you can see that the status changed, dropped instead of watching, and the score changed from a 10 to a 1. Now, why does that piss me off? Because Subaru rejecting Rem is something that should have been expected from the start. Why? Because if Subaru would end up with someone else than Emilia, the story would be a pretty big waste, considering most of the things that Subaru does is because he wants to save Emilia, because he loves Emilia and all that stuff. So if Subaru didn't end up with Emilia, why did he do all that stuff? Wouldn't it be like all one big waste? It would, wouldn't it? Now let's go on to the comments on this post, or more specifically the thread I made on this post, because those comments are really helpful and they showed up. I'm actually not the only one with this opinion, and I could use some help making this video, so thanks whoever commented on this post. You ended up in a YouTube video. So to begin, my own post, the one that actually got about 20 comments. People don't seem to realize that from a story perspective, it wouldn't even make sense for Subaru to end up with Rem. Am I the only one who expected this? As I said, if Subaru doesn't end up with Emilia, the story would, like all the things he did, would be a pretty big waste, and like I said in the post, from a story perspective, it just doesn't make sense for him to end up with Rem. Moving on. It's typical that the first girl who showed up will end with the main character. I have to agree, and especially in a case like ReZero, while I normally don't like typical stuff or normal stuff in anime, I like for things to be changed up a lot. In this case, in ReZero's case, I think he just has to end up with Emilia, because, like I said, otherwise the story just doesn't make sense, and I'm going to be saying that a lot in this video, I'm sorry. So much hate on Subaru, where the writers are the one writing the story for Subaru to choose. Whack, 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 whack. So basically you're implying to hate the writers instead of Subaru? Please don't. The writers have done a really good job on ReZero's story, and I would hate for them to receive any kind of hate for basically just writing a good story, because they could have made the story just heroic adventures and stuff, but no, they actually gave Subaru a reason as to why he always returns by death and why he keeps going forward even though sometimes he's on the brink of giving up. And I know it's not necessarily only Emilia, and he also wants to save Rem and Ram and whoever else dies. But Emilia has always been a pretty big part of it. So yeah, don't hate the writers. They did an amazing job if you ask me. Yeah, it makes sense from the logical perspective to like Rem, and they went through more than the basically non-existent thing he had with Emilia. He loves Emilia only because he saw her first, and she's more important to this in the story. From the logical perspective, I don't really know. I agree and disagree with this comment. The thing is that the thing he had with Emilia isn't really non-existent, if you ask me. They definitely didn't have as much interaction as Rem and Subaru have been having in ReZero. But in those episodes that Emilia and Subaru did have some kind of interactions, and in the first few episodes they actually had a bunch of interactions, you could really see that they had something going on, if you ask me. Like Emilia, maybe not as much as Subaru, but it was there, if you ask me. So yeah, it wasn't really non-existent. And he loves Emilia only because he saw her first and she's more important to the story. That goes back to the first comment, which was about it being typical for the first girl to end up with the main character. Yeah, maybe he loves Emilia only because he saw her first, but like, would you love a girl just because she's the first girl you saw? Or would you actually end up searching for which one of the girls is the best for you? And if Subaru thinks Emilia is better for her than Ram or Beatrice or whatever else girls, then that's Subaru's choice, or the writer's choice, I guess. Like I said, don't hate the writers. The only thing I fucking hate is how the writer is showing us how fucking great Rem is and not Emilia. Every single flag so far, Rem has been there taking our hearts and making us feel, while Emilia has gotten no screen time. None. Does no one remember the lap scene? Plus, let's not forget first impressions. Rem did kill Subaru after all, and Emilia has always helped him, so in the end, Subaru is a loyal piece of shit. Yes, I really have to agree with a lot of things in this comment. First off, Emilia has gotten so little screen time, and that's why people like Rem so much, because Rem is a more developed character. We've seen so much of Rem and so little of Emilia that it's just easier to like Rem. Like, we barely know anything about Emilia, so of course we're not gonna like her as much as a character that we know the backstory of, that we've seen her very wide array of emotions, that we've seen so much of. Of course we're gonna like her more than this flat 2D character that we haven't seen a lot of. So yeah. And does no one remember the lap scene? I think so, dude. The lap scene really did show that there was something, if you ask me, between Subaru and Emilia. But yeah, not a lot of people seem to remember it, which again is probably just because Emilia has gotten so little screen time that barely anyone remembers Emilia. Does she even exist? Did she get fucking destroyed by the white whale? I don't know. And yeah, Rem has been there taking our hearts the entire time, while Emilia again just hasn't really been showing up. And I have to fault the writers for that. They're not doing a good job on the character development. But moving on. This is a comment from me reacting to the comment above. Exactly, it's something that I worry about in ReZero then. Emilia is supposed to be the main female character, but she has gotten barely any character development as of yet, and in the second half of the anime she has barely gotten any screen time either. I get that people like Rem more, because right now she's a far better character, and a far more developed character, than Emilia. But I'm just annoyed at the people who throw an entire fit over Subaru rejecting Rem when, at least in my opinion, it was clear this was going to happen if Rem ever confessed to Subaru, at least. So yeah, going on what I said earlier, it's just that the writers have been giving Rem so much screen time and so much character development, and have been just neglecting Emilia. Like, second half, no screen time or barely any, and barely any character development either. Like, they might be saving it up for the second season or the second half of, like, whatever, or another further into the story, and I guess no, it's not really fine, because again, Emilia is supposed to be the female. Because again, Emilia is supposed to be the main female character, but we barely know anything about Emilia. Like, who is she? Like, why did she decide to use the name of the Jealous Witch instead of a real name when she introduced herself to Subaru in the first timeline? And why did she do all that stuff? And what's going on with her? No one knows. And like, I would just like to see Emilia developed more just so we can like her more, because I have to admit I do like Rem more than Emilia myself. I can't blame people for liking Rem more, but it's just because Emilia is like not a character. Like, we've seen barely anything of her, and if the writers want us to like Emilia and be fine with Subaru rejecting Rem for Emilia, then they really have to flesh out Emilia as a character, and that won't be for this season anymore, because the season is running on its last legs. It's got 3 episodes left as of the making of this video, and yeah, it won't be for this season, but I'm pretty sure, like, I'm expecting ReZero to get a second season one day. I'm hoping that in the second season they're going to give Emilia a lot of character development and a lot of screen time, because they really have to make up for what I think is a pretty big fuck up here in the first season of ReZero. Because again, Emilia's supposed to be the main female character, but where's Emilia? Like, I don't know anything about her, I don't see her. Who's Emilia? What's Emilia? Where's Emilia? Why does Subaru love Emilia, considering that she's barely there anymore? I can't blame people for liking Rem, but don't throw a fit over Subaru rejecting Rem, because in the end, like, you could have expected it. That's the story. Subaru loves Emilia, even though at this point it's very hard to get why he loves Emilia. So far, till the part I've read, Subaru is still trying to Rem after the thing, so I'm still believing that Rem can happen. Like, I have to admit, I know what that's about, but that's a very big spoiler, so I'm not going forward on that. Don't get me wrong, I like Rem. The way she deals with things and the way she shows trust has more or less affected my own personal views. The problem is, we all know Rem is great. Now show as Emilia her lack of appearance means she only appears when something big is gonna happen, as in death. Lack of punctuation makes this comment a bit hard on me, but I'm guessing, like, the last part means, like, now show us Emilia, and yeah, now show us Emilia. Like, Rem is awesome, but Subaru doesn't like Rem. Subaru likes Emilia, but we don't know anything about her. Show us Emilia. I'm expecting this, but it's still hoping, like, there would be some huge plot twist, you know, since modern adaptation or based anime have been like that. Going back on my point of it wouldn't make sense for the story if a plot twist like that would happen and Rem or Subaru does end up with Rem. The story would be a waste. Subaru's actions in the story would be a waste. That's about it. First girl was Felt. Kind of. Like, Felt ran past Subaru while she was stealing Emilia's badge, but that's it. Like, they didn't interact. Technically, the first girl is Emilia, just because they interacted a lot more than Subaru and Felt. Well, I haven't seen the anime because I'm waiting for it to finish. After reading some spoilers, I guess I can figure what's going on, sort of. The main character isn't you. You aren't the main character. You like Rem, doesn't mean the main love Rem. That's pretty much it. Like, everyone's shipping Rem and Subaru, even I do. But, like, don't hate Subaru, don't hate the writers for it, because in the end, you are not the main character, even though I wish I was the main character of ReZero, except for the return by death part. That would be not painful in the first place, physically and emotionally as well, because I wouldn't want to see my friends die and then all of a sudden have them return because I died as well. And it's an anime, it has a plot, and there's something people called plot twists, so hold your horses till the end and start judging. Again, if that plot twist happens, it would fuck up the story. Don't misunderstand, we expect it, we knew that, but that doesn't mean we won't hate Subaru or we won't want to end up with Rem. Like, I'm going to be repeating a lot of things in this video, I feel like. I already have. But you're not the main character. So, you, like, hate Subaru all you want, but I don't see the point in hating him just because he likes someone else. It's just that the writer keeps building up Rem's story, then gets rejected. For what? For the feels? Like, it's true, the writer does give Rem a lot more backstory than Emilia right now. And is it for the feels that she ends up getting rejected and all of that? No. I feel like Rem's just supposed to be like the cute, loyal girl that is just so in love with Subaru, like almost like she's a harem character of some sorts. Which, like in this case, I don't really mind because it's the only character of that type in the show, and Rem does a good job playing her role, I guess. But yeah, I don't really know why they do it. I think it's just a bit of bad writing, which is probably like that and the character development are the two weak points of ReZero. Just bad writing at some points and very weak character development for Emilia. It's a bad anime with a bad main character. That's what happens when a shonen anime tries to be a seinen. First off, I hope, like, I'm pretty sure you're not trolling, which it's not a bad anime. Let's be honest. Like I said, it's regarded as one of the best anime of the season. It's definitely not a bad anime. The story is really good. And the main character, he's designed for people to dislike him, but I have to say I don't dislike Subaru. If I was in his position, I would be the same, honestly. I would, like in the end, I would be emotionally destroyed and I would want to run away. And I'd be very lucky when someone like Rem would be with me to keep me from actually running away. And ReZero definitely isn't a shonen anime trying to be a seinen, considering that I've never seen a shonen anime with that much violence. Like, if you've seen the fight with the white whale in the last 2 episodes, that's some gruesome stuff you got there. And the story, like ReZero's story itself, is also pretty darker than most shonens. So I definitely wouldn't see ReZero as a shonen anime trying to be a seinen. It's definitely a seinen anime if you ask me. I have nothing against Emilia, but as pointed out, the show hasn't developed her as much as Rem and her relationship with Sabura. Whoops. I personally would go with Rem as she's my type, but I can respect the author's choice, there you go. And his decision to weave in a dramatic love triangle to give the story depth. As viewers, we are emotionally involved, and that's what a good story tries to accomplish. At the very least, I'll take the alternative timeline where they do hook up as my canon story and be happy. Yeah, sure, do that. Like, if you really, like, so desperately want Subaru to end up with Rem, just read the what if story and just take that as your canon story, why not? But yeah, just reiterating points I made. Emilia hasn't been really developed, and that's one of the very weak points of ReZero. And the love triangle, God, I don't know if it's meant to be a love triangle, honestly. Like I said, I just feel like it's bad writing, and that's all I can say about it. It's not even a triangle, it's a damn V with Subaru being the pointy end. Yeah, like, I guess that would be true. Subaru would be the pointy end of a love V. Ugh, that sounds weird, a love V. That could be a different thing as well. No, you aren't. Logically, if Subaru ended up with Rem, it literally means that he threw up his idealism about protecting Emilia from the start. There we go. Like, I made this entire video talking about my points and, like, my opinions and stuff, and this comment just basically summarizes it all. It's in fucking one sentence. One fucking sentence summarizes my opinions on the story and why Subaru rejects Rem. This entire video was a waste because it's basically just this comment. 10 out of 10 would make video again. Wow. Anyways, I hope that you kind of get what I'm trying to say here. I hope you kind of get what I think are the bad points, like the bad things about ReZero and what it does wrong. Again, that pretty much being bad writing when it comes to the love aspect or the romance aspect of the show, and character development when it comes to Emilia, because her character development is really lacking, and that's bad. That's all. That's the only way I can say it, actually. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you won't hate me too much. I'm bracing for a lot of hate, but I hope you don't hate me too much. I hope you just get that that's my opinion, and like, don't hate me for it. Opinions are opinions. That's all I can say. And yeah, just thanks for watching 24 minutes of me basically just ranting about anime again. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.